Hello, my dear friends. What if I told you that throughout our lives, we're taught how to grow up, how to work, how to raise children. But there's one thing that very few people ever tell us: how to live fully when we step into old age. Not the doctors, not the magazines, and certainly not the glossy advertisements that call this the golden stage of life. If you're between the ages of 55 and 75, chances are you felt this yourself. That aging is not just the slowing down of the body, but also quiet shifts in your mind, in your emotions, and in the way you look back on the journey you've taken. But here's some good news. Old age is also a doorway that opens to a new kind of strength, a deeper kind of joy, and a more honest life than ever before. In this video, I'll be sharing with you some everyday truths, things that are rarely spoken about, and more importantly, how to live these years with health, peace, and meaning. Oh, and before we begin, can I ask you something? Where are you watching this video from? Leave me a comment down below. I truly want to know who I'm walking this journey with. And if you feel that these reflections are what you've been needing, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell, so we can continue having these conversations in the videos to come. Truth number 1. Your body is the only home you truly own. When we're young, we treat our body like a machine that never breaks, staying up late constantly, eating whatever's convenient just to get through the day, working through pain, ignoring the signals. Everything feels like it can just wait until tomorrow. But at some point, usually after the age of 55, you start to notice your body doesn't endure the way it used to. There's a dull ache in the morning. Even a small bump takes days to heal. Or sometimes, you feel tired for no clear reason at all. These aren't signs of weakness. They're quiet messages from your body saying, "I need to be cared for again." Your body isn't just a tool you use. It's the home you'll live in for the rest of your life. And like any house that's weathered years of storms, it needs patience, love, and regular upkeep. You don't have to become an athlete. You don't need to push yourself to exhaustion. You just need to start small. A 20-minute walk each day. A few gentle stretches in the morning. More greens in your meals. Enough water. Sleeping on time. And most importantly, give yourself permission to rest. Not because you're weaker, but because your body deserves to recover. Taking care of your body is not about becoming young again. It's about making sure you can continue living fully, moving freely, enjoying the simple things, without being held back by pain or fatigue. Because this body, this home, can still carry you to beautiful places if you treat it like the precious thing it truly is. Truth number 2. True friendship is rare. Hold on to it while you still can. One of the hardest changes to accept after turning 55 is the quiet absence of people who used to be so close to you. Friends move away. Busy lives stretch the distance wider and wider. Relationships that once felt so familiar now live only in memory. No matter how well you prepare for it, that feeling of loss still quietly knocks on your heart during quiet afternoons. And then you begin to realize something. True friendship is rare. And if you still have someone beside you, please hold on to them with all your heart. Maybe it's that one friend who understands you with just a look, who doesn't need you to explain much, but stays when you need them. The kind of person who can sit next to you in silence and somehow make the silence feel warm, not lonely. People like that are true gifts. So don't wait until you're less busy or have more time. Send a short message, write a small card, or simply ask, "How have you been lately?" Friendship doesn't need big reunions or expensive presents. It lives in small, well-timed moments. And when you look back on your life, what warms your heart the most won't be what you've accomplished, but the ones who chose to stay with you through the years. Truth number 3. Time moves faster than you think. When we're young, a year feels like forever. You make plans, set goals, and always think there's still plenty of time. But after the age of 55, you begin to feel something very clearly. Time no longer walks at the slow pace it once did. Day follows day, weeks pass and turn into months, and in the blink of an eye, you find yourself entering a new year. Birthdays come faster, holidays feel like they just passed, and then they return again. Milestones you once thought were far away now exist only as numbers in your memory. People call it the compression of time with age. But you don't need scientific studies to understand it. You feel it in every moment you didn't get to fully live. But here's what matters. You can't slow time down, but you can make each moment deeper, more meaningful. That morning cup of coffee, sip it a little slower. That hug from someone you love, hold it a little longer. That quiet afternoon, allow yourself to be truly present in it. Life doesn't only exist in the big events. It hides in the simplest things. And when you learn to slow down and truly feel them, you'll realize something you might have forgotten. Life has never left you behind. It's still right here, just waiting for you to come back and live it fully. Truth number 4. Daily gratitude is a quiet kind of strength. Old age brings many changes, and not all of them are easy to accept. Some dreams no longer come true. Some loved ones are no longer by your side, and some days you just feel empty. Even though you can't quite name the reason why, these are real things, they can't be denied, and you can't pretend to be strong enough to make them disappear. But among those losses, gratitude is the quiet, persistent light. It doesn't erase the sadness, but it helps you see more clearly what still remains. The laughter of your grandchild, a simple meal that warms your heart, a soft breeze through the window on a peaceful afternoon. All those things that seem small are, in fact, precious gifts, and you can only notice them when you pause long enough to look, to breathe, to listen. Gratitude doesn't need to be something big. Each night before going to sleep, just think of 3 good things that happened during the day. Even if it's just, I slept well today. Or, someone called me unexpectedly. Over time, you'll notice your mind feels lighter, your sleep gets deeper, and your heart feels just a little warmer. Because gratitude isn't just a temporary feeling, it's a way of living, a way of healing. Each day, each moment. Truth number 5, learning to say no is also a form of freedom. Since childhood, we've been taught how to say yes. Yes to invitations, yes to work, yes to responsibilities, even when they leave us exhausted. Because being busy is seen as being useful, because pleasing others seems like the way to maintain relationships. But after the age of 55, you start to feel differently. You begin to notice that every moment becomes more precious. You feel your body tire more quickly when you try to please too many people. And then you realize, every time you say yes to something you don't truly want, you're actually saying no to your own peace of mind. Saying yes out of guilt or fear of making someone upset sometimes means saying no to the time you need for what truly matters. That's why learning to say no, gently, clearly, and sincerely, is not selfish. It's an act of self-respect. You don't have to please everyone. You just need to be honest with yourself. And when you're brave enough to turn down the things that drain you, you create space for the things that help you come alive again. A well-timed no might just be the doorway to a deeper, freer, and more authentic life than you've ever known. Truth number 6, legacy isn't found in grand achievements, but in the most ordinary moments. When people hear the word legacy, many think of something big, a brilliant career, a house passed down to the children, or accomplishments remembered by the community. But if you ask someone who has been deeply loved, they'll tell you about something very different. They remember the gentle look you gave them when you listened without judgment. They remember your soft smile in the moments they doubted themselves. They remember the quiet afternoons sitting next to you. No words needed, just your presence. That is true legacy. It doesn't lie in the assets you leave behind, but in the emotions you once planted in someone's heart. A word of encouragement at the right moment. A small, kind gesture. A moment when you chose patience instead of anger. Those things that may seem trivial, over time, become what others carry with them for the rest of their lives. And you're creating that every single day, whether you realize it or not. So don't think you haven't left anything meaningful. As long as you live kindly, show up sincerely, and love at the right time, you've already left behind a legacy that nothing else can replace. Truth number 7. A sharp mind is a lifelong treasure. After the age of 60, the changes we notice most are physical. We walk more slowly. Our joints creak every morning when we wake up, and sometimes even a light day of activity leaves us feeling exhausted. But there's another part of you, quieter, more precious, and that is your mind. The mind doesn't age like a car or a house. It's like a garden, and if cared for properly, it can still bloom beautifully. You don't need to be a scholar. You just need to stay curious. Read a new book. Learn a few words in a foreign language. Listen again to an old song and learn the story behind it. Or simply have a deep conversation with an old friend. Not to debate, but just to truly listen to each other. Every time you think a little deeper, feel a little more, or ask a new question, you're keeping your mind flexible, sharp, and alive. And remember, protecting your mind isn't just about mental exercises. It's also about what you allow into it. Step back from negative news. Avoid conversations that drain your energy. Feed your mind with things that open your heart, inspire you, and remind you to live more kindly each day. Because when your mind stays clear and sharp, you don't just remember the past. You also know how to build the future in a better way. Truth number 8. Change is the only constant. There are things in life we once thought would always stay the same. A home filled with laughter, a familiar job, regular family meals with loved ones gathered around the table. But then quietly, or all at once, everything starts to change. You retire, your children grow up and move away. The once warm and lively house now feels quiet and still. And some mornings, you suddenly realize you no longer belong to the rhythm you once knew. Perhaps the hardest part is accepting this truth. You can't hold on to everything the way it used to be. And you're not the only one who finds that painful. But the truth is, change is something everyone eventually goes through. And the more we resist it, the heavier and more exhausting it becomes. You don't have to love every change. You just need to stop fighting it. Because behind every shift, there's a new door if you're brave enough to step outside your comfort zone. Maybe you'll move to a smaller home and feel surprisingly lighter. Maybe you'll simplify your lifestyle and rediscover time for yourself. Maybe you'll make a new friend, just when you thought you were too old to need anyone new. Not every change is a loss. Sometimes it's life's way of bringing you closer to the most honest and meaningful version of who you really are. Truth number 9. Material things lose their value, but memories and connection remain. When we're young, we often believe happiness comes from what we own. A bigger house, a brand new car, an expensive watch, or a wardrobe full of choices. And to be honest, there were times when those things did bring a real sense of satisfaction. But after the age of 55, things begin to change. You start to notice that item you once felt excited about now sits quietly in a drawer. The thing you once bought to feel complete no longer makes you feel whole. Instead, you begin to cherish the things money can't buy. A simple meal filled with laughter, a hand holding yours in the light of sunset, an old memory shared, lighting up someone's eyes as they remember with you. That's when you realize material things can fill a house, but only love and connection can fill a heart. And when you begin to let go, not giving up, but choosing mindfully, you start to feel more space inside. Space to live more lightly, to be closer to others, and to live more deeply with yourself. Because in the end, What we carry with us is not what we owned, but what we shared, what we felt, and how deeply we once loved with all our heart. Truth number 10. Happiness doesn't come from the outside, it lives inside you. All our lives, we search for happiness. When we're young, it might look like a stable job. A bit older, it's a warm home, a complete family. Then, a dream vacation, a future where everything finally falls into place. But after the age of 55, there comes a moment when you might ask, I've come such a long way, so why does happiness still feel just a little bit out of reach? The truth is, happiness was never at the destination. It lives in how you live each day. When you notice a sunny morning, when you take a warm sip of tea and feel your heart ease, when you sit beside someone you love, saying nothing, just being there. You don't need everything to be perfect to feel fulfilled. You just need to stop comparing, stop waiting for a better time, and start being fully present with what you already have. Happiness doesn't ask for perfection, it only asks for your attention. And the older you grow, the clearer it becomes. What makes life worth living isn't out there. It lies in how you choose to feel, with gentleness, gratitude, and honesty from deep within yourself. Truth number 11. Fear is the silent barrier that keeps you from growing. Fear isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just a small voice inside your head. Can I still do this? Is it too late now? What if I fail? And the older you get, the more often you hear that voice. Not because you've become weaker, but because you've lived long enough to know that life isn't always easy. You've been hurt. You've experienced loss. You've faced disappointment. And because of that, you've become more cautious with new things. But it's also because you've gone through so much that you forget. You can still move forward, even with trembling hands, even with an uncertain heart. You've overcome so many difficulties. You've stood back up after falling. You've walked forward on your own 2 feet, with a resilient heart and quiet courage. Each time, you didn't just survive, you grew. Growth doesn't stop when you retire. It doesn't end when your children are grown. It still happens every time you dare to try something new. Every time you choose to live honestly with your emotions. Every time you reconnect with something that once scared you. Fear will always be there. But if you keep walking, even with slow and cautious steps, you'll find it gets smaller with every move you make. Because courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the choice to act, even when your heart is still trembling. Truth number 12. It's never too late to begin again. One of the most common lies older people are told is this: it's too late now. Too late to learn something new. Too late to change your habits. Too late to love again. Too late to live differently from the path you once chose. But the truth is completely the opposite. As long as you still wake up in the morning, still take a deep breath, still hear the voice inside your heart, then you still have a chance to begin again. You can start journaling at 70, learn to play an instrument at 75, travel solo for the first time at 80, and if your heart still knows how to feel, you absolutely can love again, even after being hurt. Starting over doesn't mean you took the wrong path. It simply means you found a different one that fits who you are today. And sometimes it only takes one small action, a short walk, a message sent, a class you decide to try. And that alone can open a whole new chapter. Age is not the barrier. Only the thought that it's too late truly closes the door in front of you. If you're still alive, it means you still can. And that is a gift that not even time can take away from you. My dear friend, we've just walked through 12 truths, not to make you worry about aging, but to help you see more clearly what's truly unfolding in your own life. That your body still deserves to be cared for like a precious home. That the friends who are still with you are treasures worth holding on to. That even though time may move quickly, you still have the power to slow down and live more deeply in every moment. That gratitude, choice, and the ability to begin again have always been in your hands. Growing older is not the end of the story. It's a new chapter. A chapter of awakening, of quiet values, and of a kind of happiness that no longer comes from having more, but from knowing clearly what truly remains. If there's one thing I hope you carry with you after this video, it's this: it's never too late to live fully. Every small choice you make today, even the quiet ones, is already writing the most beautiful part of your life's story. And if something I shared today touched your heart, please share this video with someone you care about. Who knows, it might be exactly what they need to hear right now. Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so we can continue meeting again in future reflections, where each small thought can continue to brighten each day of your life. Because sometimes just one small video can open up a much deeper life.